best top laners in North America for quite a while. People point to him as the best or second best almost all the time, and so far he's not impressed this season, but if they can get him going, you have a two-time world champion joining your team in the bottom lane, paired up with someone who was an MVP last year. Certainly, this is a team that has the talent, has the potential to get back to those top spots.
Well, it's a pretty red champion select here. Let's see how red the Rift gets after these two teams start that head-to-head. Looking at the bans, it's Rumble, Lee Sin, and Sylas banned away. His poor performance in EU earlier this week did not dissuade them from still wanting to keep him out of Summoner's Rift for now. Akali, Lucian, Cassio also banned out.
And Huni is a guy who I've been seeing playing a lot of Sylas. It's definitely, I think, his style of champion where you can be very aggressive, where you can have a champion that rewards a lot of creativity, so it makes some sense to take that away. It's also really cool to actually look at this game and realize this is Bang versus Piglet. These are two former SKT AD carries who are also world champions playing against each other here in the LCS. And by the way, Huni, also a world finalist on SKT in this game, so a lot of SKT alumni here, and they're going to be kind of joined by some of this newer wave of players for Clutch. Damonte has been fantastic this season. Vulcan, a very new guy to this high-level scene. And they have been really looking good. It has been guys like Damonte and Vulcan and even Piglet putting in performances that weren't expected to be at this high level, and that is what has gotten them their wins. It hasn't been the Huni show, certainly so far this year.
Well, so far we're going to see picks that are really not too surprising based on what we've seen through the first couple of weeks of play. Already, Urgot locked in for 100 Thieves, Clutch deciding to go for the Ezreal here, and could it be? It is! NA Jayce shows his face, but maybe they figured it out. Maybe NA Jayce will show up strong today. It is Huni. It is a man who's done plenty of carrying from the top lane before, although it also could be going over to Damonte. We'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, we are going to have to wait and see. And it's a little bit surprising to me that Urgot actually did slip through the bans when you consider that Cassio and Aatrox and a lot of those champions all did receive nerfs, 4 and 9.2. Urgot did not. He kind of, escaped a lot of the kind of nerf hammer that was coming through for some of those OPs. So he will still be there. And as you say, Jayce could be top, could be mid. Gonna have to find out where that is gonna go. But the pick that a lot of people had been talking about from the first couple of weeks was Victor. That had been getting chosen time and time again and had not been very effective. So we'll see if Jayce can reclaim its place.
It's not a place you want to reclaim. The Lord of the Dumpster in NA is not something that you want to be. We'll see if the Jayce can be that big pick, but the other solo lane for 100 Thieves, again, the 2018 Worlds throwback to the world of Aatrox and Urgot. Both these champions going to be picked up there for the Thieves this time around, as Zoe is grabbed for Clutch Gaming, which tells me that Jayce is probably heading top.
Does make me wonder if 100 Thieves are going to go back to the Victor bot lane or something along those lines. Maybe grab an AP jungler, because you are extremely physical damage heavy so far in this draft. Those are the two solo laners we are expecting. Generally, you would want some heavy source of magic damage to be able to kind of make it more difficult for people to itemize, especially if Clutch grabs something like a tank jungler or a tanky support, and then that would make things, a little bit more challenging as far as itemization. Otherwise, if this is a full AD draft, you're looking at Ezreal, you're thinking, okay, you're going to go Tabbies, you're going to go Iceborne, you're going to be picking up a lot of those defensive stats.
And when you look at the AD carries that have been picked so far this split, Ezreal picked by Clutch Gaming, Lucian and Kai'Sa both removed. Feels really good to be in that position, especially with, like you said, already looking at your opponent's team and saying, oh, this is incredibly AD heavy. We just need some guys to tank it up, and Braum is one of those guys who can be on the front.
I think Kai'Sa also a good ban, another marksman that can build that AP style and bring a multi kind of threat composition there as far as the damage does go. Braum, Ezreal will be the pick. Vayne would be really exciting. There is a decent amount of true damage there, so
yeah. And
I think we're going to get it.
This is a guy who's got mechanical power. There we go, baby. There we go. And remember, ladies and gentlemen, Vayne might not have been a champion you've seen a lot of in recent pro play, but she did recently get some pretty heavy buffs.
We're getting Aatrox jungle. This is going to be Aatrox flex to jungle. Okay. This is going to be Lissandra mid, and Urgot top is what I am assuming here. So that is where they are bringing in the AP. So some clever flexing here coming out from 100 Thieves. Really interesting stuff, and that is going to be answered by the Zilean, which is traditionally considered a counter matchup into Lissandra. But this is actually, okay, This is actually crazy. We're going to get Zilean top for Huni. He is going to do the Spell Thieves, no farm build. And we have a Jayce jungle.
Jayce?
Oh my God, this game is spicy already, Flowers.
Week 3, we're going to need some more.
Episode 3 is
We're going to
looking
need some more
good.
Scoville units, baby. 650,000 ain't enough. Clutch Gaming bringing in the jungle Jayce with the no farm top Zilean. Now, for people who might not be familiar with what this is, go ahead and like explain this for me.
Okay, so the thought process here is you're going to start Spell Thieves. He could just do a normal build, but this is what I'm assuming he's going to go, is you go Klepto, you actually start Spell Thieves on the Zilean, and if you farm, you will actually delay the Spell Thieves charges. So what you actually do is only harass your opponent and try to deny them as much farm.
No farming at all.
Constantly proccing your Spell Thieves and constantly proccing your Klepto. And by the time you actually complete your support quest item, you then can begin farming, and you're very often actually significantly ahead in gold because they have been denied so much farm. And at that point, you can start farming the minions, plus still cashing in on your Spell Thieves, and you can get a ridiculous amount of gold. It is also extremely frustrating to play against because as the Urgot for Ssumday, he still has to farm. He needs those minions for his gold, where Huni is essentially playing a PvP-only game. He just ignores the minions. This also allows the waves generally to push towards Huni, making him harder to gank. There are a lot of other intricacies here too, and hopefully we can actually watch a fair bit of this lane, and I can explain exactly how some of this will work, because it's really, really cool to see it coming out.
Yeah, and it's very different. Remember, it will be strange from the viewer point of view to just look at the scorecard at the bottom and see no farm on the top laner. But it will be very, very important to keep an eye on the gold, not just the farm values themselves. And there's the start we were looking for, Spell Thieves beginning. And not only does this provide you with extra gold income, the ability to harass your opponent and all that, once the item is completed, once the quest is done, that's that many more wards you're able to have out on the map as well.
Exactly. It really does set you up for this situation where you become so hard to gank because the wave is often pushing towards you. You don't actually care about CSing, so you just need to be in experience range. And then you're able to ward for yourself. One of my questions that I really do have, though, that we're kind of overlooking that we win in a normal game is it's jungle Jayce. I don't think I've ever seen this before. And cool, you have this great Zilean strategy. If that works, but your Jayce is running it down out of the jungle, then maybe nothing else really matters. So a lot of crazy stuff going on in this game.
Very creative approach to this game from Clutch Gaming, and now we have a sideline report coming in with Aphromoo, who talked to them. We'll have that in a moment as Clutch Gaming decides they are going to approach the enemy jungle very directly here early on. 10 seconds until that red buff spawns, and it looks like Clutch should be able to steal this one away. 100 Thieves not really looking to contest that right now. Instead, they're just going to say, okay, Onda can start on the top side. We'll go ahead and just do some vertical jungling here.
I mean, their level 1 is ridiculously strong with the Zilean, the Braum, and the Jayce. Certainly extremely tough to contest. Bang is going to try to get some damage in here as they do walk by, and I would really like to try to watch this top lane because that, I think, is going to be the most interesting thing for you. So, as you see, Huni has already gotten a slice stack of gold. He is not going to be CSing. He just needs to be in range for experience and continually harass Ssumday. So traditionally, people were talking about this as more of a melee counter pick because Urgot is going to have an easier time fighting back. So I am excited to see how it's going to work out with this. There are also some other important optimizations because every time you take a CS, it delays the Spell Thieves charge by about 20 seconds. So what you can actually do is you can CS every cannon, and also before you base, you should always take 1 or 2 CS. So it shouldn't be absolutely none, but you want to be intelligent about when you're proccing it.
Right.
And also getting back for an early Frostfang is extremely important because you need to complete your support quest as fast as possible so that you can begin doubling up and really getting the most out of this gold. So this is going to be really, really interesting to see how it works out here for Huni. And as you can see, the wave is going to be pushing towards him, so you can't really gank him. Yes, it will eventually reset, but we'll see if he does take the cannon, if he's really kind of figured out all the optimizations or exactly how he wants to play this out. But this is so interesting, and so much of how you're going to track this is gold versus gold, and also what Ssumday's farm is compared to other players in the game, right? Because you want to be keeping him down. And as you can see, Huni with 0 CS has more gold than the Urgot, who has 17. So that is really what you're looking at.
Well, it's working out well so far here for Clutch Gaming. And now let's go ahead and check in with Aphromoo with that sideline report that I mentioned earlier.
Thanks, Flowers. Spoke with Mick Scragg. I wanted to ask about Lira picking up the jungle Jayce, but he said that all eyes should actually be on Huni and Zilean in the top lane with the Klepto. He says, don't even worry about CSing because this is the next OP pick. After today, this is going to be really popular. Back to you.
And I think that is so interesting because what it also does is it brings up the question that people have always asked since the beginning of pro play is, why don't you see these things that are so obnoxious in solo queue translate as well into pro? And if you ask any top laner, one of the most obnoxious things in solo queue is ranged top laners just sitting there and hitting you over and over and over again. You're like, this is uninteractive. What am I supposed to do against this? Quinn, Teemo, Jayce, Kennen, all these notorious lane bullies. Well, what happens if we take that a step further and just remove farming, remove all the normal aspects of League of Legends, and just be the biggest pain in the butt you can? And it turns out it might be a viable strategy.
Yeah, I also think there's other optimizations that we haven't been seeing as much as, where, okay, if you're not farming any of these early waves, yes, there is Monster Hunter, but the jungler can still come and pick up some of those early waves, especially when you're looking at LCS where they have less gold than usual because they're focusing more on warding and counter ganking and all these other strategies. You know, if there's a stacked wave coming in, there's no reason Jayce can't just come up, pick up all that farm, then go right back to it, because you're not really taking anything away except for some of the experience that is shared there. But it's definitely very interesting. And, you know, if there were a champion that would be fairly effective against it, I do think Urgot makes sense because, as you see, at least CS-wise, Ssumday's not being held down just yet. So, you know, no really crazy advantage from the harassment by any means because Ssumday's playing this range champion too.
Exactly. Like you already said, the Urgot has the tools to deal with this a little bit better than something that would be a pure melee matchup. A quick update for everybody. It seems that there are some UI issues right now with Bang's game. We're assessing that, seeing how quick we'll be able to resolve it. Hopefully it will be soon. But in the meantime, remember, as this game goes on, one of the most important things to do is going to be to track the gold completion, or the gold progress, I should say, towards the quest completion on that support item for Huni. He's currently at 163 gold earned. As soon as he hits 500, that's the green light. That means you can start CSing regularly. You're also going to be able to fully utilize the support item with all the wards. It's a huge power point for him.
Yeah, I mean, I was messing around with this for a couple games last night, and I've been trying it out since I've seen this strategy. And you can have an absurd amount of gold. When you get an early Frostfang upgrade, you complete that support quest, you're often even or ahead on gold anyway, and then you're getting the farm plus that gold coming in. And even in losing games, I was often ending up with 2,000 or 3,000 gold ahead of the next highest person in the entire game, while not having all the global gold from turrets, etc. So it certainly can be an incredibly strong strategy, but remains to be seen, really, if it's going to work out here.
Right. That's what's so fun about this. This is our first glimpse into, does it actually work in pro? Because as much cool stuff as you can find in League, it does have to translate that gap between solo queue, 1v9, don't worry guys, I'll carry, and the competitive, communicative environment of pro play. So now you can see here as well, vayne, last seen in Summer Week 9, Piglet versus Dignitas, back when Piglet was on TL, 2017. It has been a minute since we've seen this champion.
Yeah, I mean, this was a Piglet signature pick, right? This is something that he has been known for over the years, and I'm going to be interested to see if Huni ever picks up the cannons. I do think that is a correct optimization. I think that you are, you know, gating just higher gold per minute by actually taking at least just the cannons. But he hasn't gone for any of them so far. So, okay, that one he did take. The first one he didn't go for. So I think this is intelligent, especially if what some players are going to start doing is they're just going to start backing off and just not allowing you to proc that spell thief all the time. So at that point, you can take some CS, but you have to be wary. I mean, if you ever take a full wave or something, you push back your spell thief charges so far that you really do end up delaying that support quest a tremendous amount.
Huni getting some nice damage here. 2 bombs strapped to him. Second one's going to blow up, and there we go. Ssumday will continue enduring that poke, and as I check in on the gold, Ssumday is ahead, but he's ahead by about 100. And when you look at the fact that Huni has 1 farm, that doesn't feel too bad.
So this is actually hilarious. So the reason we paused was Bang thought there was a UI error because he saw no farm on Zilean. That's the build, bro!
That's the pause.
I absolutely love that. Like, no.
My opponent's farm isn't showing up. I can't tell how much gold he has.
That's almost like a PM level pause. It's like, excuse me, this guy is getting slammed so hard, there must be a bug. Like, no, he's just losing.
It's going to be a good day of League of Legends, Azael. It is going to be a good day.
We're off to a good start here, Flowers. We're off to a good start.
Damonte off to a pretty good start there for himself in the mid lane as well. Has a CS lead over his opponent, also packing the extra ignite there that he was able to pick up off the ground, as you're going to see Onda stealing away a Krug camp here, but Lira will make his way up towards that. Level 4 on the Jayce does have the red buff. Pretty scary to fight, but Onda does have a level advantage on him, able to find a lot of damage very rapidly. There, as Lira walks back closer to him, and Huhi makes the rotation. It's 100 Thieves getting first blood.
Nice job by Huni on the rotation. Very quick there, and Lira stepping back into the third queue, perhaps thinking Huni was going to come over and not realizing the Lissandra was going to get there first. So 100 Thieves capitalizing big time. Huhi commits both summoners, the ultimate, everything. But does get there very fast. You can see the TP is actually coming in over by the Raptors, so they wanted to commit to this very heavily. He was confident to take the fight because he has the red buff and the range advantage, but not realizing the Lissandra was there, not noticing that TP coming through. Nicely done by Huhi.
And this is what I think when I look at Huhi. This is why a team like 100 Thieves would pick up Huhi. We've talked about this before. This isn't a guy who's been known as this great 1v1 mechanical god. He's faker, he'll kill anybody and just destroy his lane. He's been known and praised most for being an impeccable team player, for making good rotations, for setting up his teammates, and plays like that are exactly what I'm talking about.
I think of Hui's most famous play. To me, that was the level 1 Aurelion Soul Roam, at MSI, that sort of play where, he is out of the side lanes. He is taking over and showing up in ways that people aren't expecting. Sacrificing his own individual farm to get advantages elsewhere where they can make good on it. But so far this game, off to a good start.
Yep, and because he gets the first blood money, it means you don't even feel like you lost out on anything. You give up a wave, sure, but cool 400 gold in your pocket. Make sure you forget about that one pretty quick. Piglet stepping up here, finding some damage, down in a bang, and Aphro knows even if they try to retaliate, it will not matter as Lira is nearby. Shock blast with the acceleration, true shot barrage, barely not going to find the kill there. Aphromoo taken incredibly low as Damonte makes his way into the bottom lane, looking to find the damage. Onda coming up behind him. They've got plenty of CC down onto the enemy mid laner. Clutch Gaming will lose their mid, and Bang will fire back.
That feels so good for Aphro, and Bang, Onda there at the right place, right time. The Vayne is going to pick up the kill. And Vayne, even in CS pretty much, up a kill already, is going to be feeling really, really good because that is that late game insurance for them. So here it is one more time. Bang doesn't even use his heal. So confident that he's going to live through that. Barely does survive. And then walking right past, did not know that Onda was right behind him. He goes forward. Not sure if he even caught a glimpse of him as he came over. Knocked up again, and knocked down. By Bang.
CC. Very well done by the side of 100 Thieves, and that Vayne getting that kill. For those of you who were not aware, Huni's in some trouble here in the top side. Did have the Chrono Shift ready to go, I believe just enough mana to cast it there, so would not have actually died. Could have cast the ult on himself even if that ulti hit from the Urgot, but Vayne's recent buffs were that during final hour, during the ulti, the tumble cooldown is reduced by half. You want to talk about feeling like you've got some sort of a bug on your screen? How about the one where Vayne actually doesn't go uninvisible?
Excuse me, referee.
Yeah, I can't see Vayne. She shot me and then she's immediately re-invisible. I believe this is a bug. It's actually just how late game Vayne works now, and she is terrifying if she can get to that point.
Yeah, the build I've been seeing most commonly and I think is really, really strong is simply Blade of the Rune King Rush straight into a Rage Blade.
Yep.
And once you have that 2 items, you are just absurdly strong. If you can get that fully stacked up, you really are a beast. And now it's time for Huni to start really cashing in. He has completed the support quest item. He's going to be a lot safer. This is now a double Sightstone team, so flashback to Tracker's Knife, except even better. And now he can fully farm without putting the support item on cooldown. So he's going to be getting that 20 gold per hit on towers, on champions. He's going to be getting the Klepto gold, the Slice Axe of gold, and he's going to be farming. And we're at 10 minutes. You can see that the Urgot's farm has been held down a bit. This is certainly nothing too extreme, and they are fairly even on gold at this point. But this is where Huni should, for his hope, explode it and start to get a big advantage there.
Right, considering you've now got the same possibilities for gold income that he does with the minions, but you've also got that fully evolved support item, it should be nothing but an upward trend here for Huni when you compare the gold. And if you would have told me a couple weeks ago that we would have had a game where one top laner has the same farm as the supports, but he's equal on gold, I would have said you were trolling.
Yep.
But people always discover new ways to play the game, new sorts of strategies to test. We'll see how that works out for Clutch, because remember, they are on the back foot. They are 0-2 right now. It has been 100 Thieves making the plays here so far as Bang grabs himself a good trade there onto Piglet in the bottom side, and you can see pings from Clutch Gaming onto the Drake pit. It is Infernal Drake, the first one alive, and you know these teams are hungry for it.
I'm just going to be really interested to see what the plan for Clutch is as far as how do you play out this game? Because I think the team fighting is much stronger on the side of 100 Thieves and much easier to execute, right? You have a very strong front line who's diving in, and then you have this vayne who is going to be putting out a tremendous amount of consistent damage, whereas Clutch is going to have to be much more about poke, much more evasive, so they're going to have to try to really poke down their opponents before they fully engage. And they're going to have to play that very clever style of play with Zoe, with Ezreal, with Jayce. They do have a lot of poke, but if you can't get that, or if you're forced into a hard engage, or 100 Thieves forces around an objective and brings you to them, it could be really, really tough to win those fights.
Let's see if Clutch Gaming can make a play here on Ssumday on the top side. Lira grabbing some good damage there. The second bomb's about to blow. Ssumday getting himself away for now. Lira's going to be taking up a lot of damage. The ulti coming out from Ssumday. He's going to make this impression here. He's got them both! Ssumday!
What a monster! Ssumday with the 1v2 outplay. Absolutely sits Huni down there.
Drop the mic, Ssumday. Tell him to get the hell out of your lane. What a play coming out from this guy. And now in mid lane, it's time for the 100 Thieves to strike back. Damonte haven't already had to use the cleanse. The ulti coming out from Huhi means he is nothing but free money for the side of 100 Thieves.
Oh my God, that's the get out my game moment right there. As they fully commit onto Ssumday, they land the double bomb. Ghost is buying some space here though for Ssumday, gets back, and this is so smart. He doesn't actually use the ult on to Lira because he knows he's gonna go down. He saves it, waits until Lira is in the res, hits Huni, tower shot plus the ultimate, pulls the fear back onto Lira. Are you kidding me? That was incredible.
That is so textbook. Random college is going to charge you $500 to watch the VOD. Let's take another look at what's going to happen now. Bottom lane, the 100 Thieves trying to make themselves a play. Not quite going to find it. Onto Piglet and Vulcan. They are slippery enough to evade this one, but 100 Thieves, 5 kills up, 2K up, 1 Infernal up. Things are going good for this team, and you can let us know whenever you see a play that just gets your blood pumping like that last one. Tweet us at LOL eSports using the hashtag LCSBigPlays to let us know which one you thought were the biggest of the day. Some days, I guarantee you, is going to be up there.
Yeah, no kidding. But the funny part is, despite the double kill, despite being down 56 CS, the gold is basically dead even in the top lane, right? So that is the power of this. Zilean is going to be scaling incredibly well into those later stages and is going to still be very strong. So if they can delay, if they can continually poke towards their opponents, this is still a winnable game.
Huhi doing a very good job here, finding a lot of damage down onto Damonte, almost grabbing the solo kill, but Onda shows up, tries to bring down the sword. Good flash away from Damonte, keeping himself alive. Huhi without enough mana to continue the fight much longer. Ooh, nice dodge away there from Onda, keeping himself in a safe spot. Huni hanging out over the wall here just to make sure nobody gets themselves in a spot where they have to be revived. As topside, that means Ssumday just has free firing time on this turret.
Yeah, he's going to be getting a lot of damage down onto that. Mind you, turret plates are already gone, so cannot cash in on any more of that free gold. And we're going to have to see, really, what the plan is for 100 Thieves, because they're the ones who want to team fight. They're the ones who want to try to force the objective. So I would like to see them going over to objectives like the Rift Herald, trying to bring Clutch to them. They have been winning these fights. They have incredibly strong engage. And if any of these members of Clutch do get caught out, especially if Huni is not there to bail them out, they will be going down in a hurry, you have to think.
And I want to go back to what you were talking about earlier real quick, where you were describing how it seems that 100 Thieves comp is just so much easier to execute. And I honestly think that is one of the biggest problems historically with Jayce and why he has this bad reputation as NA Jayce. The burden of execution will almost always be on the comp that he's on. If you draft Jayce, you need to be able to make your game plan become the reality of how that game plays out. And if not, well, welcome to Melee Minion Land.
Yeah, exactly. You have to be able to get
Melee Ranged Minion Land. I'm sorry, he's both.
He's both, okay. He can swap it up. I mean, he has to be able to get split push advantages. He has to be able to press turrets. He has to be able to do all these different things. I will say that changes a bit with him coming out of the jungle because, as you get to the later stages of the game, especially in this new world where there's less experience in the jungle, there's not as much onus on you to be that massive carry in the later stages. So, he's farming fine. He's right similar in gold with Onda, and he will be able to add in a lot of poke, and that's certainly what their composition is going to be strongest at with Zoe, Ezreal, and the Jayce.
Mobility boost picked up on him as well, so not going to have the bonus cooldown that you would see from the normal Ionian boots of Lucidity. Also won't have any defensive options, but means he should be able to rotate around the map rather quickly to help these lanes out. But 100 Thieves, again, are going to be the first ones to punch. They've got themselves the first turret. They've got themselves the Shelly. They got 3,000 gold up. And what I want to see now, Azael, is a continuation of this tempo. Don't slow down.
Yeah, definitely agree. They want to keep challenging this. The Infernal is the next one, as you say. Let's see them pressure that. Let's see them drop the Rift and be able to continually knock down turrets. And I do think another kind of cool layer, as I think more and more about this comp for Clutch that works, is when you think about poke comps, you want to control vision because you want to be having your Zoe and Ezreal and everyone poking from out of line of sight, right? Out of fog. And having double sweeper, double sight zone is going to help you to set up those traps. It's going to help you to control the vision and be able to really have that working in your favor. 100 Thieves, uncontested Dragon, and we'll be able to grab that up easy peasy.
I'll give it a half contest. They shot the true shot barrage at it. They
That's
took
generous.
Yeah, all right, 0.25 contest.
Okay.
There we go, if we're going to be exact about it. Yeah, at some point, they tried, but it did not work. Clutch Gaming now find themselves on the losing end of two different Infernal Drakes, and they've got to somehow get themselves to a point where this poke comp can maybe find somebody to pick off. I mean, you've got your Ezreal. Iceborne Gauntlet is completed, is stacking up that Muramana, trying to evolve it, or the Mana Moon into the Muramana upgrade, has about 50 left to go on that tier. We'll see if then he decides to start stacking the second one, go for the Archangels that we've seen a lot of recently. You've got the Luden's Echo plus your Sork shoes down onto Damonte's Zoe, but I do have to point out his stopwatch is broken. So this is still a pretty vulnerable target. Yes, he does have the cleanse, but we already saw in mid lane earlier how even just Huhi and Onda were able to work together and get past him.
Yeah, they definitely were. It's got to be disappointing for Clutch seeing that another Infernal is coming up. This is 3 straight, and when 100 Thieves has the early advantage, and when they have this strong team fighting and kind of the way to bring in your opponents is just force a neutral objective, well, Clutch is going to be really unhappy. If that was a couple Wind Dragons, those are still really powerful, but it doesn't feel as much like you're going to be checkmated in the later stages of the game.
You can see here, update on the turret plates. 5 taken for the side of 100 Thieves, only 2 for Clutch Gaming, so about an extra kill and a half worth of gold going over to the Thieves because of the plates.
Shelly.
And now Shelly's just going to go ahead, ram her head into that turret there, take that one down. That's 2 turrets to 0 now for 100 Thieves. Bang will look to make it 3 here on the top side. Piglet and Lira coming up there to make sure it stays safe, but with Aphromoo nearby, Bang is not in any real danger. Vulcan also topside here, just in case Bang and Aphromoo get a little bit hyphy. It will be a 3 versus 2 in the favor of Clutch Gaming. Bottom side, you can see the top laners have rotated themselves down there. First item of the game for Huni will be that Archangel Staff. Wanted to upgrade it into the Seraph's Embrace to get the extra shield. But bottom, Ssumday just doesn't care. I mean, he's got the Spectre's Cowl. He's got his Black Cleaver. He feels totally comfortable dealing with this Zilean. Now, Zilean just doesn't have enough consistent, sustained damage to do any real threatening onto that. Onda takes a little bit of damage and backs away.
But at the same time, Zilean should be able to hold turrets. Your wave clear is very, very strong. Unless 100 Thieves has a Baron, you should not really be able to effectively siege on this Zilean with the spam bombs coming out. Also interested to see if this null for Bang is just he's going to sit on a little bit of magic resist, because that 450 gold buy eliminates more than the flat pen that is bought from a 1100 purchase.
Yeah, it gets rid of the Sork shoot.
Right? That is 1100 gold for 18 pen versus 450 gold for 25 magic resist. So that is a good solid buy on its own.
Math checks out.
But this could also be a Wit's End. I think that would be much more atypical. I would still prefer to see this just be a Rage Blade and sitting on the Null Magic Mantle, but these are also pieces of a Wit's End. I just don't know if there's enough magic damage in there to really justify buy.
I mean, you do have the Zoe, you do have the Zilean. There are some pretty big magic damage punches, but at the same time, I agree with you because of how you described already the Bork plus Rage Blade combination being so potent on this champion. There is a big difference between having silver bolts every 3 shots and getting it literally every other auto.
Yep. And that is exactly why that synergy is so massive. And that in combination with the fact that you have an auto reset with your tumble, that's going to be up twice as often during your ultimate. So you're constantly invisible, constantly proccing this true damage out. And the damage becomes so scary where you are just shredding through. If you cannot keep eyes on this Vayne and really lock him down, he's going to light you up.
And when you look at the composition from Clutch Gaming, What do we have to lock a Vayne down? I mean, Jayce and Ezreal both don't have anything that can lock her down. Huni would have to land 2 bombs, which, again, if she's in final hour, tumbling around all over the place, that is highly unlikely. So you're pretty much looking at a Sleepy Trouble Bubble or Vulcan hitting a big Glacial Fissure and just predicting where she's going to tumble, throwing her up into the air. You don't have any real huge AoE containment for this champion. And I really think Bang, especially a player of this pedigree, of this caliber, could pop off, considering we're now 21 minutes into the game. He has been able to farm to his heart's content. He's getting there. Null Magic Mantle going into a QSS just to make sure if he gets hit by the double bomb stun or that Sleepy Trouble Bubble, he's not in trouble.
Yeah, still like it. They're ahead. You know, I think that is a pretty reasonable choice. As you say, it's going to keep him really safe against the only ways he kind of does get picked off. He also has Fleet, so you know, that is going to be very effective against the poke, Fleet Footwork, plus the early lifesteal from the Blade of the Rune King. Likely going to be grabbing Legend Bloodline as well, which has become so incredibly popular. So even just that kind of setup there makes it so that if you don't kind of zero out this guy, he'll heal back up to full on the next minion wave. So things going certainly according to plan for 100 Thieves. I am excited to see will Clutch actually try to contest this next Infernal, because giving over a triple Infernal just feels so dangerous, and it is up on the map. All 5 of them are in the area, so let's see.
Damonte gets himself a Sleepy Trouble.
Oh,
wants
good
to look
poke.
for some even more damage. Damonte getting himself back now. Bang goes into the final hour, looking to grab some auto attacks down into Vulcan, able to proc a few of those. Vulcan going to be taken rather low. However, a lot of damage coming down onto Huhi now as well. Goes into the stasis, keeping himself alive. 2-shot barrage, not finding its way onto anyone. Bang going to sidestep that one, but not the shock blast. Clutch Gaming managed to ward 100 Thieves away for now. Some good early poke, exactly what this comp was drafted for. Makes it hard for 100 Thieves to fight. A Drowsy finds its way onto the enemy top laner. Ssumday gonna have to get himself away even further now, as it looks like Clutch Gaming have won control of the mid lane for the day, and that means they rotate over and they take the Drake.
Yeah, really well played teamfight there from Clutch. They don't allow 100 Thieves to ever get that full hard engage. No one gets locked down. No one gets pinned out and burst down. So they kite back as a squad. Braum absorbing almost all of the damage that was taken in that team fight. And you can see the shock blast, the Ezreal shots, the Sleepy Trouble Bubbles coming across, eventually push 100 Thieves out. And they are out on the map looking to try to threaten around this Baron. But we'll see if they can actually do it. I don't think you can with 5 Clutch Gaming members unless you get a pick. There's just too much poke.
That was a really promising skirmish for Clutch Gaming to me, because it showed that they were able to play to their win conditions, despite the fact that they have not managed to stop the bleeding from their early game losses. They are down, what is this, 4,500 gold now? Almost 5K, 23 minutes into the game, is a pretty steep hill to have to climb up.
Really
but because they respected what their opponents do, because they respected their opponent's win condition and stayed the hell away from it, they were still able to eke out enough of an advantage to take that last objective. And that says a lot to me, because I think that's an area where a lot of teams struggle.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I mean, they're staying very composed. They know their win condition. You know, this is something that I think as a coach, you're always going to be really happy to see. It's so much easier to play out games from ahead than it is from behind. So to see a team playing with patience, playing, you know, looking very calm, especially when it's a team that has a reputation for having these kind of really hyphy players who do get impatient sometimes. This is great for Clutch. This is a team that has shown a lot of promise and a lot of growth already in these early stages of the season.
And one thing I want to keep track of with Baron live, 24 minutes into the game now, teleports. Mid-game, working towards late game, these cooldowns become that much more important. Both top laners have TPs available. Huhi does not have his, but there goes the play. Huhi looking to go in, able to find the lockdown onto 3 more damage. Also going to be going through now. Shutdown credit over onto Huhi. Goes to the Jayce, but it's still going to be Clutch Gaming who lose the fight. Damonte has to try to escape here as Bang will hunt him down. Huni throwing some bombs over the wall, but he's going to be double killed with a flash. Damonte can't get away. He has to take the rabbit hole back. Bang walks out. Ssumday cashes in, but Lira's got the downtown shot to make sure that he picks up one more. It's 4 dead on the side of Clutch Gaming. 2 for 100.
And that kill onto Bang was so critical, because that is what denies the Baron. They don't have enough damage then to go back to that Baron and really seal out that fight. Still, a great flank from 100 Thieves. We get to see one fight where Clutch gets the type of fight they want. And then right after, we're seeing the power demonstrated by 100 Thieves. And it's like you're getting a lesson in how these two comps are supposed to work. Both teams are playing extremely well to their win conditions, and it's just really exciting to see some very good League of Legends. So here is Huni, flashes in Huhi, my mistake, gets a 3-man root there, throws down the ult. They burst out Piglet, so fully locking him down, taking him out. And then Huni doesn't die to the ignite there, barely surviving, so they didn't get the bonus of having that Zilean ultimate. Then over the wall, he gets the stun, but somebody says, okay, flashes over, takes him out, and then Damonte getting knocked down. This was actually smart from Bang to just back off and not try to greed for the kill. But the sniper there,
good shot,
coming in, Lira taking him out and saving what potentially could have been a Baron.
Clutch Gaming making the best out of a bad situation, but it's still 100 Thieves that take the edge in the fight. Next Drake spawning in about 90 seconds here. No more Infernals are allowed to enter the Rift here today, so it will be a Cloud showing up this time as we have hit the Rage Blade spike on Vayne. So always, 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 always keep your eyes on this champion as we approach the next few fights. Also worth noting, the Guardian Angel on Anda means you have to kill this guy not once, not twice, but 3 times to actually tint his screen black and white, send him home to the spawn platform.
Yeah, and it's so hard to do that when all these members are diving on you, when all these members looking, for that pressure. You can see on the side, they are going to try to create these flank scenarios. They are going to try to create these situations where they can engage from multiple angles, because if you run straight at Clutch, they will run straight back. They will throw the Braum ultimate down to slow you down. You'll be having poke raining at you from all these sides. So it's about creating these creative engage angles, 400 Thieves, and coming at their opponents from different directions at once.
Bubble goes through the wall, doesn't find its way onto Huhi, who's perfectly happy just shoving that wave out, getting himself back to base. As you can see, 100 Thieves will continue controlling the map. They're still the ones that have the advantage. They know it. They'll be pushing into enemy territory, setting down more vision. But as we tagged on at the beginning of the match, and as I'm going to reiterate a lot more until the Nexus blows up, the extra vision for Clutch is going to be big. That's 3 more wards you can have down on the map at any given time that 100 Thieves has to clear out and play around.
Yeah, and it allows you to sit on an extra sweeper very easily too, so you have much more vision denial. They're on 2 blue trinkets, 3 sweepers, and they have double Sightstone. So if you're buying pinks also, you should have complete vision control, right? You should be able to control these zones, make it harder for 100 Thieves to set up around the objectives, but 100 Thieves is looking.
100 Thieves about to lose their support instantly. Damonte's got the damage onto Aphromoo. That's the kind of pick you're looking for if you're Clutch Gaming, and 100 Thieves, they just a little bit uncoordinated there. Aphromoo too far forward.
Yeah, they wanted to try to set up this flank, but they get caught on the ward, and they get the pick off onto Aphromoo. The rest of 100 Thieves aren't able to come in, and now, with 1 man down, I don't know if 100 Thieves can actually hold the turret. There's just so much poke. Like, look at all this zone from the Sleepy Bubble Trouble, as well as the bombs coming over, and all of these different zoning tools.
And that is the first turret of the game for Clutch Gaming, by the way. 28 minutes it took them to be able to get one. However, it has closed the gold a little bit further. It has kept them in this game, and they are doing a good job of not allowing their opponents to just choke them out.
Yeah, the gold lead has not been increasing 400 Thieves, right? Yes, they are still a decent chunk ahead. They are closing on a 4K gold lead, but they are not increasing that. It has been static for quite a while now in this game, so we'll see if they really can force anything. We know that this game can turn on a dime, because if they do get that one decisive fight with a Rage Blade Vayne, you can shred through the Baron.
Aphromoo going to be taken very low here once
base.
again. The life of a support sometimes. Gets shot by a few things. All right, boys. See you soon. 30 seconds from now or so. Taking a look at the items coming online across the board. You can see the Yumu's Ghost Blade, as well as an additional serrated Dirk completed for Lira. Those accelerated shock blasts are going to be doing a good chunk of damage there. You can see one connecting onto Bang as he has to get himself away. Vulcan just trying to toss out some additional poke along with Piglet there to ward 100 Thieves away, but the Thieves do have very solid control over the Baron area for now, which Clutch Gaming will constantly have to be aware of.
Yeah, they are going to have to be really, really careful, and it's so hard for 100 Thieves to actually clear out all these wards, as Huhi going to get caught out here.
Here we go. It's going to be 2 different fights at once, but Huhi is already exploded. Huni goes ahead, uses the Zilean ultimate on himself to make sure that he's not going to be picked off. The Urgot ulti makes its way onto him, but he's just out of the HP threshold, will not be pulled back into that suppression execution. Drake is live, Baron is live, 100 Thieves are down a man. But because Clutch Gaming's top laner doesn't have an ulti and he's halfway low, they're not incredibly confident just yet. Ssumday is going to be soloing down that Drake while the fight happens mid lane. And by fight, I just mean sort of an equalization of the lane. As you can see, Clutch pinging towards the Baron area, saying if nothing else, get control now.
Yep, they push them in. They know that Ssumday is not around. So as you say, at the very least, they can take back all of this vision. buying more time for themselves, constantly searching for these picks, looking to try to get those advantages. And the 400 Thieves doesn't seem like they really want to fight just yet. I mean, Bang is sitting on so much money. At this point, I think they are going to wait until he completes his next item before they look for anything.
2,400 gold.
Yeah, he can almost buy a full rapid fire or whatever. So I think he's just going to stay out on the map. They're going to give him probably this bottom side jungle farm to try to complete an item, and I am expecting it to be a rapid fire very likely. But could decide to go another way if he does feel he really needs extra lifesteal to deal with the poke or some sort of different tech choice.
You can see the gold difference over time. Looks like a beautiful blue mountain range, something Bob Ross might like to paint her along those lines. Not any red to see
Little
except for the
happy
very
clouds.
beginning. Yeah, some happy little blue clouds showing up with some sad red lines at the very beginning, but no more red on the graph. However, those blue mountains are getting shorter and shorter in the past few minutes. So Clutch Gaming doing an okay job for themselves, trying to decrease that gold lead, not allow 100 Thieves to continue snowballing this game away, but a TP's coming in, and this could be a big moment if 100 Thieves can pull off the flank. Clutch Gaming doesn't recognize that they're being pincered just yet. The claw comes over the wall, and here comes the team fight. Aphromoo going in. Huhi's able to find his way onto the back line, onto Lira. Damage coming down. Resurrection already has to go through. His Bang's found himself the kill onto the enemy jungler. Vulcan's going to be taken down next. Piglet tries to escape over the wall, but it's already a double kill over to Bang. Could it be a triple? Damonte wants to run. Aphromoo going to be eliminated by Huni.
Or is he?
Himself occupied. Huni now not even able to find the kill onto that enemy support. Bang making sure the heal comes through in time. Still looking to chase even further. Will not find Huni just yet. 100 Thieves, 5 men strong still. They found the picks they needed. They found the fight they needed. They found the flank they needed. And now they're going after the Baron. Huhi and Aphromoo hanging out off the side here. Ready to pinch Clutch Gaming's remaining members. Piglet tries to get himself away. Huni gives his teammate the ultimate selflessly, but now he is incredibly low. On to make sure the smite is secured for 100 Thieves, and they've got the Baron.
Really nice play there from 100 Thieves. Decisive stuff, and it was such a nice play coming in from Huhi again, coming in from multiple angles. This is how they have to engage the fights. They have Lissandra really deep TP as Aphromoo is engaging from one side. Onda is above them. Bang and Ssumday are below them. Huhi coming in from yet another side. And Bang, you'll notice, is pretty much completely untouched throughout this whole fight. He's going to be able to have the time to go forward, get that damage down. No hesitation. He forces out the ultimate from Huni and then continues to go forward, chasing down multiple members, trying to get as many kills for them as possible. And look at Aphromoo, proccing the relic stacks for the heals there, and then the heal comes in from Bang, getting them just enough.
And here's after the fact, gone fishing. Pull it into the grinder.
Just during the replay, that happened. So yet another kill going the way of 100 Thieves. A cool 1K bounty sitting on Ssumday's head. So that's a man you want to take down if you are.
He clearly doesn't
Clutch.
feel too bad about playing against this new age Zilean
No.
strategy. Not feeling too bad at all, as 100 Thieves are feeling real good. 7,000 gold up, just about 7.5 now as they push the top side. Bang on this Vayne, 750 bounty on himself. Full Mercurial Scimitar with the Zeal.
Yep. And then Mercurial, he's going the more defensive option. As I said, it's reasonable to get more lifesteal, as kind of a different tech choice, so to speak, there, if you're worried about the poke, right? So now he has double lifesteal from the items, 20% there, plus his runes and masteries and everything are going to give him even additional. And the magic resist. It's going to be really hard to ever take down that Vayne. Poke doesn't really matter that much to him anymore, as long as he has access to something to hit.
For the next 2 minutes, the name of the game for Clutch Gaming is defend, defend, defend. They want to hold this inhibitor turret line at any means necessary, but it is difficult when your opponents have the 1-3-1 going. When you've got Ssumday and Bang and Aphromoo in the top side, while the other 2 lanes are being handled by the split push from the Aatrox and the Lissandra. Piglet will do his best to clear those waves out. He's going to draw 2 people down towards the bottom lane, while Onda is also going to demand attention here mid. You can see the damage he's able to find with the Deathbringer stance. Single auto takes a huge chunk out of that mid lane tier 3.
And all these cannons are really causing a lot of problems. You can see as these waves are all starting to crash at the same time, 100 Thieves is getting so much damage down on these turrets. Mid lane turret is about 1 auto away. Bottom lane turret has fallen. Things are starting to crumble here for Clutch. They just simply don't have enough wave clear to actually answer 3 waves of Baron minions at the same time.
Well, they managed to hold top lane, but bottom and middle have both lost those turrets. That means 100 Thieves can force a fight there if they so choose. Elder Drake also live now, and it's 100 Thieves who have controlled 3 out of the 4 elemental drakes.
And Ssumday's just going to start soloing it. They're actually going to continue to keep them pushed in because the Elder Dragon takes a long time to kill, but it doesn't actually do very much damage. So Ssumday can actually just sit over here by himself. The rest of the squad has been keeping them corralled so they actually can't come out and challenge this. They do now know that they're on it, but can you actually get over there in time with no vision pre-established besides this one blue ward? It seems like it should just be 100 Thieves before Clutch can even arrive.
Yeah, Elder Drake is essentially just a double reinforced loot pinata. Very easy to beat him up by yourself, smack him around a little bit, and take that prize as opposed to Baron, which is often pretty difficult.
Can't fight back.
Yeah, nothing he can do. Only one of you has a
Kinda
stick.
cruel when you think about it.
In the Ssumday versus Pinata fight, one has a stick, the other one does not. And that means
The
that
other
100
just is full of candy.
Yeah, and sometimes somebody else wants that candy. And sometimes that somebody else is Ssumday, who is 6-0-2 in this game, by the way. We started off this matchup talking about how Ssumday hasn't performed as Ssumday has in the past so far in the first couple weeks of play this split. Well, this is looking like a Ssumday game.
It really is, looking very, very impressive. And he is facing up against a new strategy that sometimes players do crumble against when they're not sure what to expect, how to particularly deal with it. But I will say the Urgot was very well suited to deal with this ranged harass. You know, he's not a melee, as that was just a visual bug. Huhi was not actually there. But Clutch is looking to try to get Oak over the walls. That is their big hope. They need to chunk someone out before they hard engage into the fight. We'll see if they're able to do it. But this is 2 open inhibitors, 3-man squad in the bottom lane, as well as the Elder Dragon there. So if you don't instantly win the fight as Clutch, you're going to
lose it.
Blasted.
Yep. Bottom side, Bang putting the autos into the inhibitor. Clutch Gaming not in a spot to really contest this one. Bang doing a great job just stepping in between the bombs. Not taking damage from either one. Does eat a single shock blast. Onda down to about 1/3 HP. Remember, he does have 2 additional lives, so it's not as if he's in any real danger just yet. 100 Thieves continuing to try to draw some attention to the bottom lane so Ssumday and Huhi can find some damage onto that second inhibitor mid.
They're just starting to completely ignore all the poke. Bang actually got hit by quite a few things there, but he's healing for so much at this point. They just cannot chunk him down, and Ssumday, very, very tanky in his own right. First inhibitor has already fallen. They're waiting, I think, for this big wave that is stacked up on the top side to actually be able to push in there. Bang's going forward.
Bang's going in. Wants to find some damage onto Piglet. Huhi decided to start things off, dropping down the ulti. Huni going to go into the stasis now himself. Piglet barely getting himself away. Huni goes into the resurrection as Damonte tries to throw in a couple of projectiles, lands to sleep, but can't find the paddling after. And that means it's free inhibitor over to the side of 100 Thieves. Clutch cannot get anything in return.
And they're going to go straight to Baron. They could, as Bang does barely avoid that Sleepy Trouble bubble. They could even 2-man this Baron if they want to. I'm not sure that they're going to have the confidence to go for it just yet. Maybe just try to establish vision control around it, take down the scuttle. But certainly, supers are already almost at the Clutch base, so 100 Thieves just needs to wait. Force Clutch to make the move. You don't have to be the ones to do anything here, because these supers are going to end the game if no one ever responds to them. So Clutch really on a timer at this point.
And when you have Rageblade Vayne as one of your teammates, literally all you have to do is have someone else stand in front of Baron to face tank him, and you can 2-man it so easily with 100 Thieves.
As long as that damage debuff is not on the Vayne, it is just going to get shredded. So Huni back to base trying to defend, but the top lane turret taking damage as well, and they just started up. Draw him over, force the TP
there you
out.
go. Exactly as I said, all you need is 2 people. One guy to stand there and get shot, the other guy to be Vayne.
I don't think they can really do much. They're going to try. TP does come in.
Shot barrage goes through. Damage down onto the Baron. It's going to be stolen. Lira makes a big play for Clutch, but will it be enough? Resurrection over the wall. Onda does end up losing his own Guardian Angel for this one. Clutch Gaming keeping the Baron away from 100 Thieves. It's a big move, but is it big enough?
Yeah, that was a huge steal. Maybe we'll buy them some time there. You know, with the Baron minions helping to defend their Nexus, I think they're going to stay in this game at least for a little bit longer. Onda actually got so low from the Baron that he was going to have his GA proc, so he had to back away, and then he could not use his Smite plus auto combo. He could actually burst down the Baron, and it gets stolen by Lira flying in there. So no one in the pit to actually tank for him. He gets tanked by the Ezreal. Look at this. He dashes out to try to get away from that, and then flash in steal. So he was not actually in range to combo that down. And that is just an error of not having Aphro or Ssumday or some additional person in there to tank the Baron for him, or even Bang stepping up and taking some hits. So a little bit of a misexecution there. Lira with a fantastic smite to capitalize on it, and does keep Clutch alive, at least for now.
Lira, a hero moment for him on Clutch Gaming, as now they'll continue to hold the line. Things are still dire, don't get me wrong. They've still got 2 inhibitors down, 1 inhibitor turret standing, just barely, like 10% HP on that thing. Elder Drake will be spawning in a minute, and remember the way Elder Drake works these days. The second one and onward, that buff lasts such a long time. You're really gonna have to just dig in and defend so long.
Yeah, and we'll see. You know, Clutch does have an opportunity, though, and that's what that bought them. As you say, it is still dire, but they're hanging on, right? They're on their tricycle. Both the back wheels have fallen off, so they're kind of doing a little wheelie on the
unicycle with
front.
some extra crap on the back.
Yeah, but if you can pull it off, it's going to be pretty
It'll look incredible. Absolutely. But now the True Shot Barrage will get fired off topside, just clear out that wave a little bit, try to keep things pushing in the favor of Clutch Gaming. As 100 Thieves say, all right, 30 seconds till Elder spawns, get everybody in position, set some vision down, control the area. Remember, as inventories complete, as we hit those full builds, there will be less and less vision on the map overall because players will not be able to buy the control wards that they would otherwise be buying. You can see Ssumday, full inventory, full 6 items. He is set. Same thing can be said for Bang, who's got 414 farm as well as 5 kills. The Vayne is sitting pretty. There is absolutely nothing more this guy could want. I guess you could maybe replace the boots with something else, but
even that is questionable because there's so much poke. You want to be able to dodge everything. So I can see
Against
arguments
comp,
for both sides, right? But I do agree that's the only even question mark. Maybe he grabs a rapid fire or something along those lines. But again, look at these supers working against them. They are on the Nexus turrets, right? You have to go back and answer that. And we're going to see Damonte recalling. Huni is recalled, so they will send both back, which could actually prompt 100 Thieves to just start this.
Yeah, 100 Thieves knows they're 5 versus 3. Clutch Gaming running back out on the map as fast as possible. 100 Thieves not willing to hard commit into the Drake pit. They don't want to risk another steal that could come from Clutch Gaming and Lira. Clutch, however, recognizes as soon as 100 Thieves steps up, they do not want to fight 100 Thieves in a fair fight in open ground. 100 Thieves has to be on Elder or on Baron or something first, because a straight-up 5v5 is not a contest Clutch is going to win.
And as the Baron now finally expiring, things will be back even more into 100 Thieves' favor. I would like to see them trying to push out mid lane, try to get over to that Baron pit and get control. They are off to the side here, trying to establish some way in to get these flanks, but you can see Huhi is up, has been spotted on that ward over behind the Raptor pit. They're going in.
Oh, Piglet very far forward, taken rather low. Urgot ulti not going to find its way onto him just yet. Damonte trying to get himself away. Sleepy Trouble Bubble finds its way down onto Aphromoo, who's going to be taken down to about 20% HP here. Damage over the wall. In comes Huhi, able to find the lockdown onto multiple members. Vulcan trying to peel back. Clutch trying to keep themselves alive. The bomb not going to find a ton of damage just yet. World Ender has been used by Onda. Once that expires, Clutch Gaming knows that that's one less life they have to chew through. Piglet trying to maintain the poke, keep himself at a decent enough spot. The base for Clutch Gaming, critically, also still in perfect condition because the inhibitors had respawned. Clutch found their opportunity to actually leave the base and fight, but now, has 100 Thieves won the fight hard enough to make anything happen? I believe the answer is no.
Yeah, I don't think so. I mean, Clutch is still around, right? They still have all these members here, and they landed enough poke. They kited out Bang's ultimate. They disengaged from Huhi's engage as well. So they were able to really pull that off and utilize their kiting and their poke once again to make this very difficult for 100 Thieves to find that all engage. And they are still maintaining vision control, still maintaining control of this kind of river area. So 100 Thieves have got to try to make a choice.
Sleepy Trouble Bubble comes in. Damage comes down and the shutdown over to Piglet. As now Ssumday finds himself in danger here too. Clutch Gaming doesn't want to go any further. They know Ssumday has the Guardian Angel and they would only proc the passive. Clutch Gaming with a big pick onto the enemy AD carry. Now heads for the Elder Drake.
That was enormous, and without the Vayne, this 100 Thieves team comp doesn't really even function, so they're just going to have to give this over completely. You can see Onda is over farming the Wolves. He knows they don't have much of a chance.
You're just back pinging your team saying, get out, get out, get out. There's no point in suiciding for this.
I mean, he could try to suicide for a steal. That would have been the only real option there. But with the Baron coming up shortly thereafter, even if you stole it, if you die, maybe they just take the Baron in your face. So
right, not worth.
Here it is.
Take another look.
One more time. The sleep onto Bang, and I believe he did not have his QSS available for this time. So Ssumday goes in front to block, but you know what you can't block? The Ezreal ultimate. Oh, the Zoe Q snuck around the side there.
Damonte weaved that like Angelina Jolie curving a bullet. That was so good coming out from Damonte. This kid has been performing so well for this team so far this split. He has stepped up time and again. And even though this game, he doesn't have the most amazing scoreline in the world, 2-3-3, pretty average. But when you can come in the, and Lord forgive me for this pun, clutch moments like that and make it happen. That's what I wanted to boo myself too, I understand.
It's okay.
I couldn't think of a good synonym.
Freak is cheering. You have at least one.
I got one fan.
You got that one loyal fan.
I'll take that.
Freak's like, woo, yeah, flowers.
All right, at least I know Freak has my back. But right now, the Elder Drake picked up by Clutch Gaming means that they're feeling okay with moving into enemy territory. This is a team, Azael, that spent so long in their own base, 2 inhibitors down, on the cusp of defeat, and is now pushing forward, sitting down all these wards. Again, I'm going back to the vision game, and I'm not going to stop because they have so much more vision control, especially now that it's the point of the game where control wards can no longer be purchased by multiple members of the enemy team.
And gold lead no longer really matters, right? These guys are capping out on items here very, very quickly, so this is no longer a big deal to be down this couple thousand gold whatsoever. As you say, they're going to have more vision control. And you know what makes an Elder even more powerful? A poke comp. Everyone can apply the Elder Burn so easily. It's a shock blast over the wall. It's, you know, an Ezreal Q and Aphro getting very low here.
True Shot Barrage not going to find its way onto that 100 Thieves support. Some more damage coming down now. The Clutch Gaming got to be careful. Onda coming in around from behind, looking around these guys, but Piglet's already got the kill down on Aphromoo, who he's going to be taken very low. However, he does have that ultimate to keep him alive for now. Onda's also going to go into the resurrection, but Ssumday's able to find the godlike spree by killing Huni. Damonte alive, keeping himself away in the back lines. It's 1-for-1. Support traded for top laner, and Clutch Gaming is forced to retreat.
Yeah, they are pushed back as such close fights, the slimmest of margins deciding these two fights. And you can see Bang is having such a hard time actually entering the fights. He's getting zoned out by multiple members, and Aphro here looks like he has gotten caught out, but Onda is going to come around the side over towards the Dragon Pit. If he had gone back into that Ezreal ult, he might have just gotten lit up. So they decide to make the call, okay, we are going to engage here. But watch Bang. The sleep comes down. Then the Braum ultimate is zoning him out. He's over here in the pit. He can't get in. But 100 Thieves is rushing the Baron flowers.
100 Thieves saying it's 4v4, but you lost your top laner. That's more important than our support. But the sleep finds its way in. Damonte finding some damage down onto the Baron. Can Lira do it twice? The damage comes through, but Onda's got the secure this time around. Clutch Gaming still looking to make a fight happen. They pop the resurrection onto Ssumday. Bang's still alive, trying to find a way to make some sort of a fight happen. The second resurrection comes out onto Onda as Ssumday has to try to get himself away. Another resurrection for Onda. The man won't die, but he's not a cat. You don't get 9, you only get 3. Lira takes him down, and Clutch Gaming, they lose the Baron, but they find the enemy jungler. The name of the game now is what can you get after, because your top lane inhibitor is being pressured.
And will it go down? I think Huni should be able to save this with the double bomb, but it is so low, and it falls.
You love to see it if you're 100 Thieves. You get the Baron, and you get a free side of inhibitor fries.
Feeling very good about that. Yes, they give up Onda, but they do get out, but I am seeing a pretty consistent problem here where Bang is just unable to enter the fights. He's unable to get involved because he is being zoned out really, really well by the sleeps from Zoe, the bombs from Zilean, the ultimates from Braum. They're doing such a good job on the side of Clutch of actually tracking Bang, knowing that he is the real only consistent damage at this stage in the game, and he's swapping over to a rapid fire there away from the Rage Blade because he
can't
not
stack it.
Exactly. He doesn't have a target that he's consistently autoing. So he's going to 100% crit build here, and it's more about the one hit, the Q tumble with a rapid fire crit and trying to burst someone out. And this is a smart adaptation, I think, here. Makes a lot of sense with how well he's being zoned.
And I think that's one thing that's very important to consider about any sort of mechanic in League that has a stacking element to it. Whether it's something like a Darius Bleed or a Rage Blade or any sort of 3-hit passive. The more meatballs there are on an enemy team, the more you can do with that. Piglet, I'm gonna pretend like I didn't see it, buddy. Don't worry. I'm on your side here. I'm on your side here. Yeah, so the bright lights in the studio, sometimes they get
very distracting.
Azael and I were in rehearsal today, and they turned them on us, and we couldn't see anything, and I'm sure that's what happened to Piglet.
Could happen to anybody.
Right there, but when the enemy team has no meatballs, which there are none present on the side of Clutch Gaming, Braum's like half a meatball, you don't get to stack those. And when you don't get to stack them, it feels really bad as a champion who's trying to get those stacks as a critical part of their damage loadout. Elder number 3, coming alive here, 25 seconds. Remember, both teams have had a single Elder, so whoever gets the next one, it is a big juicy boy.
And we are now in the longest game of the split, but you gotta remember, one fight could easily end this game.
Oh yeah.
50 minutes in, the respawn timers are so long. There's already an inhibitor down on the side of Clutch, but even for them, with all the tier 2s available on the side of 100 Thieves, if you get aced in the middle of the map, it's not gonna matter.
Speaking of getting aced in the middle of the map, Huhi's able to find the flank, comes in behind Clutch Gaming, and they are going to be eviscerated! Right as we say it, the game is over! And Huhi is the hero of the day!
The unlikeliest member has been getting criticized all season long, and Huhi finds the engage that will claim the day for 100 Thieves.
He did it so many times this game when 100 Thieves found the flanks onto Clutch in these fights and started things off during their biggest wins of the match. It was always Huhi coming around, making those flanks, and setting the team up for success. And then after things look shaky, after they go from 2 inhibitors down to wondering if their own base is gonna be broken at the cusp of the next fight, he wins the entire thing. Phenomenal job.
Such a good engage, and honestly, what an exciting game. This one was so interesting, had it all. We got the Vayne pick, we had Jayce jungle, we got the no-farm Zilean top lane, who the game went long enough, he has 317 farm.
Anyway, yep. More than you'd see in a normal solo queue game at 50 minutes.
I mean, just an insane game. So many smart choices, so many good adaptations from both teams. Really impressed with how these two squads played out. Very different compositions. Clutch was down a significant amount of gold and managed to play it very well to stay alive. But 100 Thieves, they knew they had to find these engages. They knew they had to come from multiple angles. And when it really counted, Huhi found the engage that seals the day.
Ssumday still never died either, by the way. So 100 Thieves clearly spicing things up here for week number 3. But now we're going to send it over to Avali for an interview with a victorious
break that
member
one down.
of 100 Thieves. Break it down.
Thanks, Flowers. Huhi, congratulations on that win and that game-winning flank with Lissandra. Tell me about that play. What was going through the comms? What was going through your head?
Through our head, like we were all getting really stressed because like we knew we were ahead, and we just wanted to find a way to close out the game. And Zilean had side stones though, so it was really hard for us to like find a normal flank. And in the end, I was just screaming, just back up and let them come in. I'm in a perfect position. And then when I was going in, I think I just screamed, and then went in. So yeah, everyone screamed once we got the flank because like we were all really stressed about like that game, how we can engage on them. So we were really happy about it.
Those are some LCS caliber comms right there. But 100 Thieves picking up the second win in the split. What do you think of how the team is progressing through the split so far?
I think we just picked up our second win, and we didn't expect our like record to be like 2-3. And I think a lot of fans are like doubting maybe, or like we were like stressed too about it. But in the end, the only important thing is we have to move on. Like we cannot just be sad about that we were 0-3. We had to move on. And even though we were a 0-3 team, people were still really positive, and we knew that we were gonna be up there. And it was just really important to find like that clicking on the team. So that's what we were trying to do.
And you'll be moving on to your game against CLG tomorrow. Old team, they're on a bit of a win streak, going 2-0 last week. What would picking up a win against them mean to you?
We played CLG tomorrow, and they just went 2-0. So I do think they improved as a team a lot better because the first week they went 0-2 as well. But I think we're kind of in the same position where like we were both trying to improve and getting in the playoffs, I guess, shape. So yeah, I think picking up tomorrow's win will kind of like ignite our momentum and help us go towards the playoff.
Well, Huhi, thank you, and wishing you the best of luck in that coming up match. For the rest of the game, let's hear from the State Farm Analyst Desk.
Thank you very much, Avali. A win added to the column for one.
What a win, dude.
What a win it was.
50 minutes.
It took a little bit longer than expected. But say goodbye to top lane CS statistics for the entirety of the spring split. We had our first Klepto Spell Thief top laner. So first, talk to me about the merits of this strategy before we talk about it in this game.
I mean, you can see on your screen right there, that was his exact rune choice, but the most important thing is obviously the Kleptomancy. You combo it with Frostfang, and you start stacking up gold through auto attack, harass, and spell usage. And for Huni this game, it transformed at 9 minutes. He completed the quest and could finally start CSing again. He was only about 100 gold down, and it does delay your build a little bit, but at the end of the day, you're going to end up with so many more rewards than the enemy team.
So for context for people also, this was on the front page of Reddit.
Yeah.
And I think the kicker here for me was that in the game, when 100 Thieves paused it afterwards, and they said the reason was that Bang thought it was a bug, that he saw 0 CS. So to me, that sounds like they,
weren't prepped.
Weren't prepped for that strategy, which I think people really underestimate, like being fully immersed in the scene and always being up to date on every little like cheesy thing that comes up or every Reddit post.
Yep.
Clutch Gaming took that step to make the test and actually try it out. And they're like, you know what? This isn't just a, crazy, Reddit funny, haha, like YouTube thing. Actually has a lot of good math behind it because the gold that you get from your spell thieves while you're not CSing doesn't contribute to these bounties. And it does kind of artificially inflate the enemy team bounties because they're getting this big CS lead. Your top laner's not CSing, he's still getting gold. It's like also a way of kind of hacking the system.
Yeah, a very ingenious way to approach it all. But now I want to talk about the choice within the context of this game. Mark, I know you have some qualms with the overall team composition here for the side of Clutch.
With a poke comp, it's understandable that you want extra vision. And so the idea of a Kleptomancy top laner that's going to get extra wards is cool. The problem is you did it with Zilean. And I actually have a huge problem with that because the thing about comps, like a poke comp, is once you get engaged on, the fight's over. Like it's so hard for a poke comp to get engaged on, have a member drop, and then res him, and then keep fighting. Like that's not what their comp does well. By the time that you get engaged on, it's probably game over. And so I had huge problems with where I thought, as soon as I saw this, I was like, Kleptomancy, sick. What the hell is this draft? It's crazy to me. And like, I thought that was gonna get exposed come mid and late game.
So first question here. We keep the Zilean pick. What is a better composition for the top lane to go along with the top lane Zilean? Then I'll ask a follow-up.
I know what the follow-up is. What other top laner would you pick then?
Exactly, so, with this comp.
Zilean top is great. I think you can throw it into a lot of comps. Like if you have an Akali mid or something, you have some kind of diver and you're going to throw the bombs on. The same way you would pick Zilean mid in any comp, I think the top laner can do it. Similarly, the problem here is, like I said, the Zilean doesn't really help to disengage too much. You have bombs, zone control, some slows and stuff, but not enough compared to like a Karma top, which can speed the whole team away and throw shields on the entire team, as well as have great poke and zone control herself.
So hold on, let me interject.
All right, here, tag me out.
Because I actually do like agree with a lot of the pros for picking Zilean in this team comp.
Okay.
Now, like you're saying, it is hard to execute, but the idea with most poke compositions is not to be in a state where you're ever behind like that, right? So the Zilean does add tremendous zoning power, which is really effective when your poke comp gets ahead early. You can throw down these bombs at the turrets. As you can see, a lot of the turret sieges went really perfectly for them anyways, because all the poke is coming through. And during the revive, it is only 3 seconds while they're on the ground trying to get back up. But the idea is while your enemy that got or your ally that got hard engaged on is reviving, everyone else on the poke comp is throwing down cover fire. And so the damage is still all going through. Here, though, we have some clips of how a poke comp did not get ahead early.
Yeah.
Because 100 Thieves did a lot of what we talked about in Countdown when we were setting this match up.
Yeah, I mean, so much of what we're saying is like assuming an even game state and like that the poke comp can get vision down how it's going to work. When you fall this far behind with any poke comp, who cares if there's a Zilean top or not? You're in a lot of trouble. So this game fell apart kind of quickly for Clutch, though they did a really good job getting back in.
Right, but those clips service your point at the top of the day around for 100 Thieves is paying attention to those side lanes, using Huhi for what he's known for, getting out of the mid lane and affecting those side lanes. We saw the very first blood coming from a TP and roll up to the top lane from him, an outplay from Ssumday under the turret to get the 1v2 double kill, and then, of course, reacting nicely to an overdive in the bot lane. 5 early kills go in favor of 100 Thieves, and this is where we're sitting here going, all right, game's over. 100 Thieves, if they do everything correctly with the compositions that they have, just got to set up 1 or 2, TP flank fights, and they can roll it through to a victory against this poke comp.
Right, and one of the reasons why we are thinking that is because they have Alistar and Lissandra, 2 of the best champions at hard engaging. However, as they talked about in the interview, there's a lot of wards here with the double warding, and here are the flankers. You can see Huhi and Onda came in this time around. This was one of the first successful flanks that they got.
Well, and the big thing here is, like, look how many targets are getting focused down. Lira's getting hit down. Ssumday's running forward. They just completely ignore the revive targets.
Yeah.
So I'm like, what is the Zilean doing in this comp so much better than anything else? Most of the revives, like, sometimes someone got out, but like they could largely ignore it and just find cleanup kills at other points, because either you're getting AoE comboed,
Yoink!
which is how they won the game, was an AoE engage, or this one where you're picking off multiple people at different points, and you can just ignore the guy in the front that's getting revived because no one can step up to protect that guy.
That's why I absolutely loved this game.
It was so fun.
It was such a good game because we have had a lot of games throughout the world where the strategies have become narrower and narrower, but this was such a clear delineation between the poke comp, between the hard engage. The poke comp also went the extra edge to get another round of wards, so they could try and ward all the areas. Huhi talked about how difficult it was for them to find those positionings. And they definitely targeted their win condition. They were able to find it.
Yeah, and I think Clutch, as much as we've kind of been poo-pooing the draft, I think they played it pretty well. I think, like, you saw Damonte find a number of huge pickoffs to keep them in the game that long. Lira was actually pretty good on the Jayce, all things considered, despite having a bit of a rough game early. So it was a really, really fun game, and I hope we get to see more like that.
Right, for 100 Thieves, what was a somewhat disastrous start by record, right, in the 1 and 3 to start the split, now moved to 2 and 3, and all of a sudden things don't seem to be as disastrous. Still look for some cleanliness in the way they close these games.
The Baron!
A lot of people will say there's no way.
Don't show the replay.
Should not have been a 50-minute game. Probably should have been in that 30 to 35-minute range, given the advantages that they had. But either way, they walk home with the W. That does it for Game 1. Don't worry. Game 2 has FlyQuest and Team Liquid battling for first place when we return.